The scene shifted tonight to the Bell Center in Montreal, and the start of this game, I think, favored the Leafs a little bit because I made mention last time about how the Leafs, the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, they just seem to be not quite caught up yet for some reason. It's not like they're bad or they don't start on time, as Babs always used to say, but they just don't seem to get into the flow of the game until that little bit into the first period. And so tonight, the first period, especially the start of it, the first half of it, was just so choppy. There were a bazillion whistles, it seemed. There was multiple offsides. There was multiple pucks over glass. There was one whistle that went, I don't even know what the fuck it was for. There wasn't an icing. It wasn't an offside. It wasn't a penalty. I'm not sure what it was for. It was just a very choppy start to the game. Lots of stops and starts, and I think that kind of favored the Leafs in the fact that it was slow. It was choppy. Neither team could really had the opportunity to get any momentum going, right? So I think that kind of helped the Leafs. And what also helped was, I mean, it didn't seem like it was a help when it happened, but Galchenyuk took a double minor high sticking penalty early on in that first period, and the Leafs just, Montreal didn't even get, I think, one shot on a double minor power play. So that really seemed to stall their momentum, if well, not that they had any at that point, but it was a good way for the Leafs to kind of get into the game. And it's like, yeah, no problem, here, why don't you have power play the rest of the game, we'll still win, right? Like it was just a good way for them to get started and get some confidence going. And then once they came off those kills, they were able to ramp it up a bit. And as the game moved on after that, they started to take over. And then especially into the second period, they really, it was another game of rope-a-dope. They set up for some good long sessions in the O-zone every so often. And that's when all the scoring, I think that's when all the scoring happened. Maybe the last Leaf goal was in the third period, but I think it was all in the second period. The Leafs were on the board first. It was a Nylander goal, just off of a one draw to the right of Carey Price in the Montreal end, and it was drawn back to Nylander, who was kind of at the left point, and he kind of spun like he was going to pass it across point, but then he started to skate out a bit, but it was just kind of a delay decoy move, because then he spun back towards the net and then just ripped one that hit somebody. It hit maybe a Montreal defenseman's shin pad or something like that, and then eluded Price. And that's the thing, just put it on net. You never know, it's going to hit something and go in. That's the one thing I hate, is when the Leafs pass up an opportunity to shoot when they're in a good position to shoot, and they go, oh, pull it to the backhand, go around the back of the net, and then put it out front to somebody, and it never amounts to anything, right? If you're in a good shooting position, shoot the fucking puck. That's my one frustration with the Leafs, is they pass up a lot of good opportunities. And I mean, sometimes it works out. They then make a couple really pretty passes and finish on an awesome play, but a lot of time the play fizzles out, right? So, not long afterwards, Suzuki tied it up for the Habs. Who cares? And then later on in the second, the game winner would come off the stick of Riley, and this was a perfect example of shooting the puck. It's a little bit of a passing play in the Montreal end, and it came to Riley, who was pinching down low on the right side, and he was just above the faceoff dot, and he got the puck, and he just hesitated for a couple seconds before wristing one high over Price over his shoulder. And that was a prime example of Riley, a guy who should shoot the puck more, but who usually dishes off to try and get it to Marner or Matthews on the wings, right? And he finally ripped one, and look what happened, right? So and that was good, because he was kind of the GOAT on the Suzuki goal, so he kind of got some redemption, and it ended up being the game winner. Third period, the Leafs, I don't know, Montreal had the better period in the third period. They got some momentum going, and I'm not sure if it was a matter of they finally started playing a bit better, or if it was just the Leafs falling into that defensive shell a lot sooner than they should have, and we're just trying to kill off that period and maintain the 2-1 win. But either way, Habs pulled Price with around 2 minutes left in the period, and the Leafs shut him down. Had a couple of almost breaks to get an empty netter, but couldn't quite do it. But the main thing was they kept the puck out of their own net and sealed the 2-1 victory. So after that kind of choppy start to the game, it turned the pace ramped up, and it got especially at certain times it really got pretty quick, and there was a lot of physicality again. In terms of the Leafs' performances, I thought the decor as a whole had a really good night. Riley had the one he didn't close on Suzuki fast enough on that goal and kind of gave it up, but then he got it back. The goal back later on. Brody is just as steady as ever. Hall's been steady. Muzzy's been steady. Sandin, for being pretty much a rookie still, considering how many games he's played, and this being his first taste of playoff action this series, and he was -2 in the first game on the 2 Montreal goals. He's quarterbacking the Leaf power play. He's looking poised and primed to go, and so he's been really good. At forward, the playoffs get so tight, you can't count on Matthews and Marner leading the charge like they always do. So you got to count on other guys, and I really thought Simmons, this was his best game of the series so far. He had some good offensive opportunities, but mainly he was just this was the fastest I've seen him move in a while, and he was just laying the body quite a bit. He really caught Gallagher with a good one and buried him on a big hit, and I thought he was his most effective he's been so far in this series, and it's awesome to watch him fly around out there and crush people. And Hyman had a pretty good game. He just does his Hyman thing, chasing down pucks, creating havoc. There's quite a few scrums in this game, and he initiated probably the biggest one, which was awesome. Overall, it was just a real good battle. It was a close game, closer than I feel as though it should have been. But again, that's Carey Price, holding the Habs in it. And, the shots were even in the end. The face-offs were split right down the middle. So it was a really close game statistically and stuff. But I still feel as though the Leafs are proving through their play that they are, the far better team. But like I said, the playoffs is the great equalizer when games get tight and the checking gets close. Upsets happen, right? So, but for now, Leafs have a 2-1 series lead. They got another game in Montreal tomorrow night. We're on back-to-back nights. So let's hope the boys get some rest and come out flying tomorrow night and can win a game by more than 1 goal, because the old ticker can't take it. Let's get her done.